Have you ever stopped to think about how our body is an incredible machine? It works tirelessly every day to keep us healthy and full of energy. But like any machine, it can encounter problems. Sometimes, little warning lights start to flash, and it's essential to pay attention to these signs. Did you know that some symptoms can be warnings that something isn't right? Things like feeling unexplained fatigue, losing weight for no apparent reason, or noticing that your urine has changed color may seem harmless at first, but ignoring them can have serious consequences. These signs could be your body's way of letting you know that something isn't working as it should. Imagine realizing that you have wounds that won't heal or unexpected bleeding. These symptoms can be much more important than you think. They could be the first signs of something that needs immediate medical attention. Paying attention to these signs is crucial because catching health problems early can make all the difference in treatment and recovery. Let's explore together the 10 symptoms that deserve your attention. Recognizing these signs is essential for ensuring your health and well-being. Don't wait until it's too late. Your body is always communicating with you. It's time to pay attention to what it has to say. And let's get to the first sign, but first, just check if you're already subscribed to the channel, because the upcoming videos will be a series of content that will help you prevent cancer once and for all. Imagine you're living your normal life, eating the way you always do, without changing anything in your daily routine. Suddenly, you start to notice that your clothes are getting loose, your belt needs to be tightened more than usual, and when you step on the scale, you see that the number is dropping quickly. At first, it might seem good because a lot of people love to lose a few pounds, but then you remember, you're not doing anything different. You're not eating less, you haven't started any new workouts, and still, the weight is just disappearing without any effort. This might seem a bit strange, right? Now, here's the thing. When our body starts losing weight for no reason, it might be trying to tell us something. Sometimes, losing weight suddenly can be a sign that something isn't working properly inside. There could be many reasons, and one of them might be cancer. That doesn't mean that every weight loss is a sign of something bad, but it's important to pay attention because the body is trying to communicate with us in a way that we can understand. I know we live in a very busy world where often we don't have time to take care of our health, so I've made my ebook, The Ultimate Guide to Natural Cancer Prevention, available for you to download right now in the first pinned comment. This book will help you prevent or eliminate cancer from your life once and for all. Click on the first pinned comment because we only have a few units left, and it will be taken down soon. Click now to get your digital book. Back to the topic. If you lose about 1.5 kilograms in a week or more than 5% of your weight in a year without doing anything different, like a diet or more exercise, it's a good idea to talk to a doctor. The doctor may order some tests to understand better what's going on. You know why? Because cancer can cause weight loss for several reasons. Sometimes it makes us lose our appetite, that desire to eat that we usually have. Other times, it can affect how the body digests food or even cause intestinal issues, like bloating or blockages, which prevent the body from absorbing nutrients properly. It could also be that cancer causes a feeling of nausea, that urge to vomit, or simply makes us feel full very quickly, even if we haven't eaten that much. All of this can affect how the body deals with food, causing us to lose weight without even noticing. So, even though losing weight might seem like a good thing for some people, when it happens without explanation, it's better not to ignore it and to see a doctor. The important thing is always to listen to what our body is trying to tell us. The second sign. Have you ever felt tired after a busy day at school, work, or playing? It's completely normal to feel like you need a little rest. Sometimes, even when we haven't slept well for a few days, our bodies feel a bit sluggish, and all we want is a comfy bed to recharge our energy. But imagine this. You sleep, you rest, and yet the fatigue doesn't go away. You wake up in the morning still feeling exhausted, as if you hadn't slept at all. And this tiredness lingers for days, weeks, or even months. That's what we call persistent fatigue. Now, our body is always sending signals about how we're feeling. When we get tired, it's usually its way of saying, hey, you need to rest and recharge your batteries. But when rest doesn't help, something else might be going on. Many things can cause this kind of never-ending fatigue. It could be stress, sleepless nights, or even something more serious, like an illness. What you need to know is that cancer can be one of those reasons. Many people with cancer report feeling this type of fatigue that doesn't improve even after a good night's sleep. This happens because cancer can disrupt the processes in our body. It can change the levels of certain proteins and hormones related to inflammation. When these levels are off, the body can start to feel worn out and tired, as if it's always fighting against something, even when we're just resting. Moreover, during cancer treatment, Many people also experience this kind of fatigue. It's something that comes with the package because the body is constantly battling to fight off sick cells and heal itself. So if you feel like you're always tired, even without doing anything out of the ordinary, it's a good idea to pay attention and talk to a doctor. Fatigue can be a sign of many things, but when it lasts too long and doesn't go away with rest, it's always better to investigate. Think of it this way. The body is like a battery. Sometimes, it runs low because we use it a lot, but when you charge it up again and it doesn't return to 100%, that means something is wrong. And if your body isn't recharging as it should, it's time to find out why that's happening. Did you know about these signs? Leave a comment if you've experienced any of them or if you know someone who has. I'm here to help, and I want to know about your relationship with cancer. For our third sign, you know how when you get hurt, like when you scrape your knee or cut your finger? Normally, the body does an amazing job of fixing everything. After a few days, the skin starts to close, forms a scab, and soon the injury is almost gone. But now, imagine that you have a wound that, no matter how much time passes, just doesn't get better. It doesn't form that scab, remains open, or even seems to get worse. That's a warning sign. When a wound takes weeks to heal, or even when one appears out of nowhere without you getting hurt, it's important to pay attention. It may seem like something trivial, like just a little thing that takes longer to heal, but your body is signaling that something is off. It turns out that sometimes cancer can cause this kind of problem. For example, if sores appear in your mouth that you can't figure out where they came from or that linger for a long time without healing, it could be a sign of oral cancer. Wounds that don't heal can also appear on other parts of the body, and it's essential to take note. The body is usually very efficient at healing minor injuries, so if something isn't closing up as it should, it's time to pay attention. Think about it. When a door gets stuck and won't close properly, you try to fix it, but if it stays that way for too long, you call someone to take a look, right? It's the same with the body. If the wound doesn't heal, it's time to seek help from a doctor to figure out what's going on. And there's no need to panic, okay? Not every wound that doesn't heal is a sign of cancer, but it doesn't hurt to check. Sometimes, the body is dealing with an infection or some other issue that needs treatment. But just to be safe, when you notice that a wound is taking too long to heal, it's good to talk to a doctor. The important thing is not to let it go unnoticed, because if it's something more serious, like a tumor, the sooner you find out, the better. The body always tries to heal itself, but when it can't, it's like it's asking for help, and it's our job to listen and seek guidance. Pay attention to wounds that seem stubborn and won't go away, even if you're taking good care of them. The doctor will know how to investigate and help you understand what's going on. Now let's talk about something that the body should never do without a reason. Bleed. Everyone has cut or injured themselves, and we know that in those situations, bleeding is normal. But what happens when blood appears out of nowhere, without you having hurt yourself? This can seem strange and sometimes even frightening. If you suddenly notice blood in a place where it shouldn't be, it's an important sign to pay attention to. For example, if you go to the bathroom and see blood in your urine or stool, that's something you need to tell your doctor about. It could be a sign that something isn't right in your body, and in some cases, it may indicate bladder or intestinal cancer. Another example is coughing and suddenly coughing up blood. This could be a sign of lung cancer or issues in other parts of the respiratory system. Unexplained vaginal bleeding outside of your menstrual period is also something to watch out for. If this happens, it's not something to ignore. It could be a sign of problems in the uterus, like endometrial cancer, which affects the inner lining of the uterus. So, whenever the body bleeds in an unusual way, it's a good idea to talk to a doctor and investigate what's going on. Another thing that can happen is noticing blood coming from the nipple. This can be a sign of breast cancer. And of course, not every instance of bleeding means there's a tumor, but whenever we see blood without having hurt ourselves or without a clear reason, it's like the body is sending us a message. Blood is something that should stay inside our body, so when it appears outside for no obvious reason, it's worth asking a doctor what could be causing it. So the next time you notice any strange bleeding, whether it's in your urine, stool, from a cough, or even in secretions from the nipple, don't ignore it. Sometimes, these signs are little cries for help from the body. And the sooner you seek help, the quicker you can find out what's going on and treat it, if necessary. In summary, the body shouldn't bleed out of nowhere. If it does happen, even if it's just a little blood, it's important to stay alert. It could be something simple, but in other cases, it may be a warning of something more serious. The important thing is not to ignore it and always seek medical advice to better understand the situation. Have you downloaded your ebook, The Definitive Guide to Natural Cancer Prevention yet? I prepared it with great care because I know it will be very important for preventing or eliminating cancer in your life. The book is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. You know when you feel a lump in some part of your body, or notice that an area is swollen or harder than usual? Sometimes, these lumps or swellings can appear suddenly, and that's something to keep an eye on, especially if they don't disappear after a few days. When a lump or swelling persists for a long time, even without pain, it's always a good idea to pay attention and talk to a doctor. Let's imagine you notice a lump in places like your neck, armpits, abdomen, groin, breasts, or testicles. These are common areas where something like this can appear. Sometimes, this type of lump can be just a cyst, which is a benign thing, meaning it's not dangerous. But the problem is that you can't always tell just by looking or feeling. So even if the lump doesn't hurt or seems small, it still needs to be checked out because it can also be a sign of cancer. In the breasts, for example, when you feel a lump, it can be a warning sign. In many cases, these lumps are hard and may or may not be painful. If you notice a lump in your breasts or see changes in their texture or shape, it's important to speak with a doctor. The same goes for men, who may find lumps in their testicles and also need to get that checked. Even though it might not be common to think about this, it can happen and deserves attention. These lumps can appear in various parts of the body, and it doesn't mean that every lump or swelling is cancer. Often, they are benign, as we mentioned, but to be sure, a doctor needs to examine it. What you should remember is that if you feel something different in your body, whether it's a lump, a swelling that doesn't go away, or an area that has become harder, don't ignore it. The body is showing that something has changed, and the best thing to do is to find out why. Imagine the body as a big alert system. When a lump appears and doesn't go away, it's like the body is turning on a little warning light, saying, "Hey, there's something here, pay attention." You don't need to panic, but it's important not to let it go unnoticed. The sooner you find out what it is, the better. That way, if it's something simple, you can resolve it, and if it's something more serious, like a tumor, you can treat it quickly. Remember, your body is your friend and always gives you signals. And lumps that appear and stay for a long time are one of those signals. Pay attention to them and seek help from a doctor to ensure everything is okay. The next sign, imagine you're lying in bed, ready for another peaceful night's sleep. You drift off, but in the middle of the night, you suddenly wake up drenched in sweat, as if you've just run a marathon. The sheets are soaked, and you feel an odd heat, even though the weather outside is cool. It's normal to sweat a little sometimes, but what happens when this becomes a frequent occurrence? Every night, the same scenario. You wake up bathed in sweat for no apparent reason. This could be a sign that something in your body isn't working as it should. Now, imagine that along with these night sweats, you start experiencing fever out of the blue. Fever typically occurs when we have an infection, right? Like when we catch a cold or some other illness. But what if this fever appears without explanation, without you being sick or having a cold? It comes and goes, and you can't understand why. This type of fever or excessive night sweats can be one of the signs your body gives when something is wrong, and cancer can be one of the causes. Sometimes, the body reacts to cancer as if it's fighting an invisible infection, causing fever. Other times, certain types of cancer can alter how our body regulates heat, leading to these intense night sweats. It's as if the body is trying to get rid of something but doesn't quite know how. For example, imagine going to sleep feeling normal, but waking up in the middle of the night as if you just stepped out of a sauna. This happens repeatedly, and you start to wonder if it's just a strange dream or something more serious. Your body is actually trying to send you a message. Something isn't functioning as it should. Certain types of tumors might release substances that disrupt the body's temperature regulation, causing fevers or night sweats. Now, of course, not every fever or night sweat is a sign of cancer. Often, it's something much simpler, like an infection or even the onset of menopause in women. But the important point is to pay attention if these symptoms appear without explanation and continue for weeks. When this happens, it's a sign that your body is trying to tell you something, and you should listen. Think of your body as a super smart machine. When it starts to overheat, like when your phone gets too hot, it's a warning that something isn't right. If you feel that this is happening to you, seek medical advice. A doctor will help determine if it's something simple or if it needs more attention. The important thing is not to ignore the signals your body is giving you, especially when they keep happening night after night. Well, we're moving on to the 7th sign, but before that, I noticed you haven't liked this video yet. This is very important for YouTube to keep delivering our content to you, and this way, we can continue helping you with cancer prevention. So go ahead and leave a like on this video. It's free. Let's move on to the next sign and talk about the skin, which is one of the largest organs in our body. It not only protects us but also alerts us when something isn't right. Sometimes, changes in the skin can be important signs that we need to pay attention to. For example, if you notice a mole that was once small suddenly growing or changing color, this could be a warning sign. Moles that bleed, have irregular borders, or change shape also deserve attention. Additionally, painful lesions or spots that cause itching or burning may indicate more serious problems. Skin cancer, for example, can manifest in various forms, and recognizing these signs is essential for early diagnosis. Another type of skin change to watch for is jaundice, which is when the skin and the whites of the eyes turn yellow. This can indicate liver problems or even pancreatic cancer. The body is trying to show that something is wrong, and jaundice is a warning that should not be ignored. Moreover, red spots on the skin, known as erythema, may seem like allergic reactions, but in some cases, they can be early signs of tumors. These changes may seem minor, but it's important to examine them carefully and not dismiss them. Often, people don't pay much attention to small changes in their skin, thinking it's just a reaction to a new product or something they ate. However, when changes persist or appear without explanation, it's time to consult a doctor. What you need to remember is that, just like any other sign from the body, skin changes should be observed and discussed with a healthcare professional. In summary, the skin can give us many clues about what's happening inside the body. Changes like growing or discolored moles, non-healing lesions, jaundice, and red spots are all signs that need to be investigated. Stay alert, and if you notice something different in your skin, don't hesitate to seek medical attention to ensure everything is okay. For the 8th sign, when we talk about the intestinal system, we refer to a very important part of our body, responsible for processing the foods we eat and absorbing the nutrients we need. However, like other parts of the body, the intestines can signal when something isn't right. If you notice unexplained changes, such as persistent abdominal discomfort, it might be time to investigate. One of the main signs to watch for is changes in bowel habits. If you notice that you're experiencing diarrhea or constipation without an apparent reason, this could be a red flag. For instance, if you typically have regular bowel movements and suddenly start having difficulty or, conversely, experience frequent bouts of diarrhea, it's important to pay attention. Additionally, if you notice that your stools look strange, such as having blood or a different color, this is something that should not be ignored. Blood in the stool can be a sign of issues, including colorectal cancer, and should be evaluated by a doctor immediately. Another important point is persistent abdominal pain or discomfort. We all have moments when we feel bloated or have a stomach ache, but if these symptoms become frequent or intense, it could be a sign that your body is asking for help. Changes lasting more than 3 weeks deserve further investigation. Moreover, if you're experiencing pain in the anal area or notice any unusual discharge, these are also signs that may indicate a more serious problem and should be discussed with a doctor. In summary, pay attention to any changes in your intestinal system. If you notice discomfort, changes in bowel habits, unusual stool appearance, or persistent pain, don't hesitate to seek medical help. Early diagnosis is crucial, and understanding what your body is trying to communicate can make all the difference in your health. I want to hear from you. Have you experienced any of these symptoms? Comment below, as I'm eager to help and clarify any questions you have about the dreaded cancer. I'm here to answer your questions and share ideas. Difficulty swallowing or dysphagia is a symptom that may seem simple at first glance, but it deserves attention. We all have had moments when something went down wrong, causing a small cough or discomfort. However, if this sensation becomes frequent, it may be a sign that something isn't right. When we talk about difficulty swallowing, we can refer to various things. Sometimes, a person may feel pain or burning when swallowing, as if food is stuck in the throat or chest. Other times, a person may feel that the food isn't passing, causing a sense of panic and discomfort. These symptoms can be uncomfortable and even frightening. The causes of this difficulty can vary widely. You might be dealing with a narrowing of the esophagus, which is the tube that carries food from the mouth to the stomach. This narrowing can be caused by inflammation, scarring, or even tumors. Tumors in the throat or esophagus can obstruct the path of food, making swallowing difficult and painful. It's also important to pay attention if the difficulty swallowing is accompanied by other symptoms, such as unexplained weight loss or severe pain. These could be signs that a more significant problem is at play and that medical evaluation is necessary. If you notice that swallowing has become a daily challenge, or if you're experiencing pain and discomfort when eating or drinking, it's essential to talk to a doctor. They can perform the necessary tests to understand what's happening and, if needed, offer appropriate treatment. In summary, difficulty swallowing should not be ignored, especially if it becomes a constant in your life. Paying attention to this sign and seeking medical help can be crucial in identifying and treating any underlying problems. Your body is always trying to warn you, and it's important to listen to what it has to say. Did you enjoy the book, The Definitive Guide to Natural Cancer Prevention, that I left for you in the pinned comments? If you haven't downloaded it yet, hurry over and then come back here to let me know your thoughts. And finally, our 10th sign. Have you ever stopped to think about how our body communicates important things through small changes in our daily lives? One such change can occur when it comes to urinating. Normally, each person has their own pattern of frequency and volume of urine, but sometimes this pattern can change, and that's a signal that deserves attention. Imagine that you always go to the bathroom at specific times of the day, such as in the morning, before bed, and a few times throughout the day. But suddenly, you start to notice that you're going to the bathroom much more frequently than usual, or perhaps you feel like you can't hold your urine as you used to. This can be uncomfortable and, moreover, it could be a sign that something isn't right. One change you might notice is the presence of blood in your urine, which can be a serious sign. This symptom could indicate problems, including urinary infections, kidney stones, or even bladder cancer. Even if you think that the blood could be something minor, it's essential to talk to a doctor to investigate the cause. Additionally, if you notice that you're having difficulty urinating, as if the urine is sticking, or if you feel pain when doing so, don't ignore these signs. These symptoms can be caused by inflammation, infections, or even tumors that are blocking the flow of urine. When this happens, it's as if your body is trying to alert you that something needs to be investigated. Another change to watch for is the amount of urine you're producing. If you notice that you're urinating much more or much less than usual, this could also be a cause for concern. Sometimes, this may be related to problems with the kidneys or the bladder. So if you notice changes in your urinary habits, such as going to the bathroom more often, blood in the urine, pain when urinating, or changes in urine volume, it's important not to hesitate in seeking medical help. These symptoms could be signs of problems that need treatment, and early detection can make all the difference. In summary, stay alert to changes in your urinary habits. Your body is always trying to communicate with you, and understanding what it's saying can help you maintain your health. Don't be afraid to seek medical help when something feels different. Phew! We've reached the end of our video, and I hope you've learned a lot about the signs we should keep an eye on to take care of our health. Remember, our body is like a friend trying to warn us when something isn't right. If you notice any strange changes, such as unexplained fatigue, wounds that don't heal, or changes in your urinary habits, don't ignore these signs. Being attentive to these details can make a big difference. Often, the sooner we notice something, the easier it is to resolve. It's like when you see a little warning light on your car's dashboard. You know you need to take a look to avoid bigger problems later. Health is the same. So, whenever something feels different or strange, talk to a trusted adult and don't hesitate to consult a doctor. Prevention is always better than cure, and taking care of yourself is the best gift you can give your body. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found this information important, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with friends. Let's take care of our health together and spread these tips so more people can pay attention to the signs their bodies send. See you next time.